Pleased to be joined by Congresswoman Amelia Sykes on this third anniversary of East Palestine. Congresswoman, thanks for making time for us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about, first of all, you are introducing today some new legislation, a new bill. Walk us through what you're calling the Railroad Safety and Accountability Act. What changes under your act if it were to be passed?
Absolutely. So this bill would require the Railroad Advisory Commission to include all segments of labor, of industry, of safety organizations to make sure that they are not only providing recommendations following the National Transportation Safety Board, but also holding accountable railroad industry members who perhaps are not working on behalf of the American people and and making sure that they're staying safe.
You're also being very vocal about what we have reported on for a couple of years now. The bill reducing accidents in locomotives, the Rail Act, that has, sorry, not trying to be cute here, but is clearly derailed. There is no movement on this. Why is that?
Yeah, there has been no movement on this bill because the Republican leadership has absolutely refused to stand up to the rail lobby. The rail lobby made it very clear they do not want to see any additional regulations or safety measures related to Norfolk Southern's train derailment in East Palestine. And they have completely capitulated to the industry at the expense of folks in East Palestine and, quite frankly, all over the country where we have continued to see train derailments happen.
I think we've seen that in this legislation, some of the items are pretty common sense and would perhaps decrease maybe derailments, increase safety for the communities. What are maybe some of the items that you are struggling with that you're saying this is a no-brainer? This should be enacted. The rail companies should have to abide by these particular items.
Well, the most simple provision was something that we got from Governor DeWine. After the train derailed, the first responders had no idea what was actually inside the cargo, in any of the cars, because there are placards that are required to be there, but because they could not withstand the heat, they melted. So that for these first responders showed up not knowing if these were toxic chemicals, if it was safe, and they were operating blind for several hours. Governor DeWine suggested that we mandate a more substantial material for those placards so that first responders would know what they were dealing with. We can't get movement on anything. That is as simple as it comes. Just to make sure that in the event that something happens, we're making sure that everyone is safe, that we know how to best behave. And if you may recall that controlled burn, we later found out was unnecessary. And again, a problem due to the making of the fact that nobody knew what was inside and how to handle it. So that could have been an easy provision. But nonetheless, we have heard time and time again that there is no movement, even though we've seen President Trump show up in East Palestine, Vice President Vance show up in East Palestine, Republican senators. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, told me his only comment on East Palestine was going on Fox News and not even working with members of the committee.
So I'm going to give you the final word here. Encapsulate how you're feeling. Are you frustrated, upset, angry? Encapsulate how you want people to understand. Here we are 3 years later, and there have been no changes legally to the way rail companies have to operate here in Ohio and the rest of the country.
I am angry on behalf of the American public and people in East Palestine. I don't represent East Palestine, Ohio, but the impact of the derailment and the pollution and the plumes of smoke have impacted us across Ohio. And the fact that all of our federal government employees have shown up in East Palestine, our elected officials, with promises to do something, yet the Republican majority has refused to, is disrespectful. I urge the president to hold his promise, keep his promise to the American public. I urge Vice President Vance to keep his promise to the American public and make sure that we're moving some legislation so that this does not happen in another American city and the people in East Palestine do not experience all of this trouble in vain.
Ohio Congresswoman Amelia Sykes, we certainly appreciate the time. Thanks.
Thank you.